Hi, my name's Kwasi. I'm a rapper producer from Australia, Melbourne, my hometown. What's happening? I was always into music. Like growing up, I had heaps of different music around me. Like my mum was into heavy metal and like Nirvana and things like that. And then on the other side, I had my dad who was into like reggae and had lots of African music around. So I guess that's first where I heard music and just like grew that connection with it. It wasn't until I was like 19, so I started like realizing I could make it myself, and I downloaded some software called Ableton. And I kind of started figuring it out there, and that's when I was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna start making my own music. When I was growing up, I was always like, deep down I knew I wanted to do something, whether it was like acting or if it was like music or just something really creative, but I just didn't know what it was yet. And growing up where I did, there wasn't really any avenues, or there wasn't many people doing it. So I guess, I don't know, the reason I chose to do it, it's just me, like being creative and just being able to express myself the way I want, and not like following something else, like, working for someone else. It's just not for me. I used to travel to Melbourne nearly, every weekend, if not every second weekend, with my mum and my sister. So we'd always come to Melbourne, and I knew what it was like up here. Like skateboarding culture up here was like just awesome. Like music culture up here is awesome. So in the back of my mind, I always knew Melbourne would be the first place I'd go to. Not necessarily where I'm going to be forever, but like it's kind of like the home base, I guess. If you're going through something and you don't want to talk to someone, or whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood, it's something that you can put on and help you relax or help you feel better or improve your mood, or it's just like it's an expression. Skills as a rapper. Good question. I guess where it started is just like freestyling. Freestyling is like a basis for me. The first time I rapped would have been, probably year 10 or something in high school. Me and a friend used to just freestyle about whatever was going on around us. But the first proper song I wrote would have been, it's probably like 4 years ago now. When you first start writing, it's kind of like just write about everything. But now it's kind of like find one thing, focus in on that, and then expand on that idea. I guess I have a bit of a theme, but that's just like comes with my character. But I try to do a range of different perspectives on the world. If someone comes on the radio and they sing like this crazy, like doing some crazy singing, everyone's like, well, that's really good. I could never do that, but that's really nice. I like to listen to it. But with rap, it's like someone raps and straight away you relate to it, because it's almost like, I could do that. This person's just like me. And like, if I wanted to, like, I could write something like that. So I really relate to this person. So Strange Dreams is kind of like, it's that period between like when you want to do something really bad, like, you got a wild dream, but at the moment you're trying to do it, like you have days where it's like, oh yes, I can definitely do this, or other days where it's like, oh, this is just a stupid dream. So it's kind of like that moment between, it's like a strange period where you're like, I'm a rapper, but people still know me as like, they don't really know that I've been rapping for that long. So it's just kind of odd. It's just like pushing through that barrier and just like being yourself and just like going from that dream phase. With the creative process, it's just let it roam free, like beats wise and lyrics and singing and everything. Just like any ideas, just write them down. Don't criticize yourself too much on it straight away. Just write, create. I hate being doing that. I want to inspire people with my music. I want to keep it honest. Like I don't want to have to lie, like just to make a good story. Embellish a bit to make it a bit more exciting, but it still comes from somewhere that's really honest. And I just want. I guess it took me a while to realize what I wanted to do, and I want to be able to, my music to, maybe a kid that's like only 12 or 13 will hear it, and when he hears it, he'll know what he wants to do with his life, like straight away, just like that. He'll hear it, and then he'll have that that confidence to go through with it and not have to wait until later on. It's getting deep in here.
Okay, so
you know how to cry.
Fun. Okay, so obviously I get all sentimental.
It's stage shows, it's straight away. You get that feedback straight away in the moment, and I love spontaneous. Like I started off freestyling, like I said before, so I love being able to improv in the moment and just go with something. Like sometimes, you go off on some tangent about some bullshit, but it's just fun because you're up on stage and you got a microphone and you say what you want. Golden voyage. Golden. I'm still undecided, so I don't know if it's going to be Golden Voyager or Golden Voyage yet. I'm trying to think. I'll figure that out, but it's something to do with gold. With this one, it's like my best work to date, and I want to spread that out to the world. The reason I chose the title Golden Voyage is because a few years back, NASA, they sent out a golden record into space on a satellite, and it contained they chose some of the best music in the world, that music that really defines who we are as humans, and they recorded a bunch of all different sounds, like babies crying, kids laughing, and all crazy things like that. And then they sent it out to space, and it's in hopes that aliens might find it. 1 in a million chance that they will, but they still did it anyways because what do you do? So I kind of wanted to call my release this because it's like the same kind of concept. It's like they say it's really hard to make it with your music and make it in the whole business of music, so I'm going to do it regardless. 1 in a million shot, it doesn't matter. It's just what if. So make my music, put it on a golden record, send it out to the world, and I hope some special aliens out there find it. So Triple J on Earth. So I'm a bit newer to it. I've had some stuff on there for a while, but I haven't really been pushing it. So I'm really keen to start getting into that. But it's a good platform. It's almost like they've set up a chart for artists that are just starting out, so they can still have their own position where people can go to them and check it out. So I think it's a really good area. It's like your own little chart, so you can put your music up and see where it takes you and get a bit of feedback. And if you make something good enough, maybe you get some radio spins or something. Dream, get that static. Makes me different. I think I keep it honest, and I think right now, where hip hop is in Australia, I think it's in a real weird spot. You've either got, you got your American rap that everyone knows, your gangster stuff, or there's a lot of conscious stuff coming out there as well. You've got that's really popular in Australia. But then you've also got your Ocker Aussie rap that's really popular in Australia. So it's kind of like these two sides, and I think there's a bit of a new wave that's happening right now that isn't fully in process yet, but it's happening. Where you might be really influenced by American hip hop because that's what you grew up on, but you never really listen to Ocker stuff, so you don't really fit into this category of Ocker rap. I think there's this kind of new area, something fresh that's coming out. It's a new wave of hip hop in Australia. I think I'm a part of it. I think this is that new wave of music. It's fresh. It's something, we're some of us Australians, we like to keep it classy and stuff. It's not, we don't have to impose with that whole Ocker crazy attitude. We can kind of do something that's smooth and nice, but we're not Americans, so So I guess what makes me unique is I fit into that spot. Role as a producer. So when I first started writing music, I was always real keen on the whole producing thing because you've got the power, you got the control. You can make whatever you want. You set the environment, you create the backdrop. So when I have my producer hat on, it's all about just setting that scene, create something that sounds nice, something that evokes emotion, maybe evokes some groove. But yeah, just creating that backdrop. So how have I grown? Well, when I first started, I was about 5 foot. Now I'm 6 foot. Bang. So when I first started, it's kind of you're just happy to be writing music. You're just hyped to be writing a rap or anything, which I still am now. But the way I've grown is I really want to think of an idea and then focus in on it and create that idea. And the way I've grown is just building my skills up, and then now learning now that the skills are all built up, now just releasing them and going with the flow and letting it all out there. So figuring out who you are and just not caring, not worrying about being yourself when you write a song. So I guess just grown into myself as an artist. Yes, I'm with a record label with Midnight Green. So JD, the guy that runs the label, I met him when I first started out, when I was just like eager. I was so eager just to get into all this music stuff. Like still eager, but like this is when I was like, you know, just hyped as. I spoke to him, he told me he has a studio out here in Oakley, Stronghorn Studios, and I asked if I could just come along and sit in on a session. And after a while, you know, he let me record a song with him, and he liked what I was doing. And I was still in the real early stages, but you know, after a while, like recording with him, kind of built up his skills and whatnot. And you know, he always had plans of making his own label. So like, you know, combined with, you know, my drive to become an artist, and you know, his like ambition to make a label, we kind of thought we'd combine and just like, you know, create something nice. So. You know, it feels comfortable because we created it together. You know, actually knowing who each other are and being able to create something that's gonna last a while rather than just, you know, jumping on something. So it's like more like a family or something. What's next? Gonna get some lunch. What's next is just to keep, I'm in a real creative spot right now, just making as much music as I can. And what I want to do is, I just want to build up a folder of as many demos as I can over the next few months, and pretty much just pick the songs I want for the next release and just make them cohesive and really get a whole project together for the Golden Voyage, or Golden Voyager, so undecided. But yeah, so I'm just making music, like posting videos here and there on Instagram, seeing people, you know, what they're feeling and whatnot. Just and yeah, just so next is just to put this release out, I reckon, and start playing shows again. Listen to Kwasi. 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 What's up?